was just what we call EGBs, which are energy generating behaviors. Just making sure that we didn't get, out EGB'd again in the second half. But you gotta give them a lot of credit. They played hard as could be, and they beat us up on the boards. We reacted better in the second half, I thought.
You said it was going to be a hard game.
So fire away.
How much of that, Keith, was just what
Man,
was
how
the?
could you just jumped right in there? He was ready to ask something, and you just jumped right in there. Go ahead, Tristan.
Go ahead,
You
Tristan.
can't go first all the time, man. Come on.
Yeah, I guess the one takeaway was first 19 minutes, they didn't attempt a three-point shot. And looking so far, it's just an early sample size. You guys are giving up 40% from deep. Was that something that you wanted to key in on early, or was it just their own game plan, just getting inside as much as possible?
That statistics drive me nuts, by the way. So just so you know, like I'm on the same page. Like I look back, and the one year I think, the year that we had the shortened COVID year, not the year we won 21, but the next, I think we were like one of the best in the country in 3-point percentage. And the last 2 years, our numbers are so high, I don't even know like what the issue is. So. I mean, we always try to guard at the line. We just have made mistakes. Even tonight, late, we made a few mistakes that we have to do better. Because you can't win games and give up 3 balls. It's the great equalizer now. And so if you do that, you're going to get beat. Go ahead, Zach.
Thanks, Keith. Just wanted to ask, following up your opening statement about the rebounds, they had more offensive rebounds than you had rebounds at halftime. I'm sure that was part of the EGB. Was it just them out-hungering you, out-desiring you, or just out-positioning you?
We didn't hit. Like, when the ball goes up, you have to hit. They have some quick guys, so if you allow them to run to the rim without hitting them, you're going to get out-hustled to them. And, we're playing a relatively small team, other than at the 4 and the 5 spot, and that's part of it. But I don't know. I just think it was a little bit of an aberration. We hadn't really gotten crushed up that much, other than maybe a little against South Carolina State. But we got to do better.
What did you like in the second half after the EGB conversation?
I thought we did a good job of walling up around the rim, making shots difficult around the rim. I didn't think we moved the ball as well, but part of it is they switched a lot. So when you switch a lot, then people stand around a little bit trying to get the ball inside. We didn't share it as good as we usually do. I do think that I thought we played our best when McGriff and Rozier were in. I thought that was the best stretch we played the whole game. And so that's what the funny thing about this team. I thought McGriff played really good last game, and we didn't give him as many minutes. And I went into this game thinking, look, he's about ready to bust out and play better, because he's a good basketball player. Like against the zone, against man, he's big, he can pass, he can shoot the ball. And he tried hard defensively. He still has a lot of work to do defensively, but I thought he played really well. And then the other guy, man, look, he's 13 assists, 1 turnover on the year. And he plays with no agenda whatsoever. He just plays. And he cares about winning, and he's won his whole life. And so I just felt like we played a little bit better with them in, which is kind of a weird deal, because I think, obviously Tevin Brewer and Trey Clark are really good players, but I thought we played better during that one stretch, which busted the game open. And that's what we talked about after the game, is there's going to be nights, where you may not get as many minutes. Like Matoush didn't get many minutes tonight, and I still think he's a good player, but it was just one of those nights where, we didn't go that direction, and we have to be willing to accept that as well if you care about winning.
On the topic of Q, just how much of that also is just him finally being able to string that positive with successful plays and just having that desire and that fire and that passion go so well? Was it maybe shoot or shoot, it goes well, so he has that extra oomph?
Well, I think, again, we've been hitting him hard on quit worrying about whether the ball goes in and hunt EGBs. You know, that's kind of the deal with him. Like, he's more than just a guy that can shoot the ball. He can pass the ball, he can handle the ball, he's big, you know, he guards the ball pretty good, you know. Just quit worrying about whether the ball's gonna go in or not. And I think if you quit worrying about that, then the ball does go in. I think he's a good shooter. I mean, his numbers aren't gonna stay down forever. He's a good shooter. You know, he just has to be a little bit more businesslike on a daily basis, but he's a talented guy.
It might be unfair to judge him until he's fully at 100%. When it comes to Tevin Brewer, he hasn't been scoring as much or even looking to score. Are you hoping that he becomes more aggressive offensively, or are you happy with him, with how he's running the offense and sort of passing the ball, even though you said tonight wasn't the best for team-wise?
I just thought I just think he's been running uphill. You know, he's playing catch-up. And I've seen it before, even with my own son, you know, battling through injuries and that, where you don't feel great because you're playing catch-up physically, right? So you're playing in games when your legs are a little rubbery. So I think he's done a good job of acclimating himself to helping our team win. But I think as the season goes, I think you're going to see he's going to average 15 points a game. I just think right now he's a little rubber-legged. He just hasn't quite been able to. Now he has some games where he's a little better than others, but I think he's going to be one of the key guys for our team if we're going to take the next step. You know, he's a guy that has to explode for us to really go to the next level.
You said on Monday that the team had tired legs. To navigate through that, even despite a limited practice again tonight, regardless, just to find a way to win when the team's not playing its best, how important is a result like that at this stage of the season?
At the end of the year, nobody cares how you played, right? All they care about is what your record is. You know, so look, we've had to survive some things that we didn't anticipate, but in the long haul, it's going to be good for us, right? Like Dixon's getting a lot of minutes, he's getting experience, he showed he can do some good things. You know, we had to play Matoush and McGriff at the point guard spot, which down the line is going to help us, gives us two more playmakers. You know, we've got beat up a little bit on the inside when in reality, you know, when we get those, we're way more physical with the older guys. And we've got to play young guys. Like, people don't realize, so we played 9 guys, right, pretty much. And 3 of them, let me make sure on this. How many are freshmen? 3 of them are freshmen and a sophomore out of the 9. So that's not really what we signed up for. You know, we didn't anticipate that, but in the long haul, it's going to be good for us. And all you're trying to do is just try to win. So, and then games like this also are good because you have to battle. You know, you don't want to get out of the box and win by 25 right away, and then, you know, you have a false understanding of what you really have to work on. So we have a pretty good understanding of what we have to do to get better. But I do think we've been consistently a good shooting team all year long, right? And the thing that I like best about it is it's from a variety of people. It's not just, so like if one guy's not shooting the ball good, then when you have Matoush or you have Quincy, or we can go a lot of different directions. And so I think that's key for us.
So you had the 3 games and now you have 5 days before you play again. How do you handle that situation with the injuries and, you know, just the lack of depth? That you want more depth than you have.
Well, I think we're giving 2 days off for Thanksgiving, so they'll get 2 days, and you know, then we'll play a good Santa Barbara team that's a good team. You know, so we'll have to get ready. We'll bring them back on Saturday evening and practice. You know, get them ready for the next game. Just work on some things. The good thing is we've seen a lot of different things now. You know, the last two games, you know, we saw zone to man, we saw 1-3-1 to man, we saw 1-3-1 to 2-3 zone. We've seen full court pressure. You know, we played against the zone the whole game, the game before. So at least we're prepared for almost anything that we're gonna see down the line.
This team crashed the boards, that was
Yeah, I
another
mean,
thing.
again, like, you know, we've got a lot of work to do to really become what we wanna become, but we're capable. Anything else, Tristan?
Yeah, this is sort of an overall question, just looking at not only your team with Brewer and Rozier, but just A10 as well. Just from your experience as a coach, would you say that the point guard position is the most important position on the court when it comes to if you don't have that settled down, that you're just not going to win?
You're not winning if you don't have a good point guard. I don't care how good you are in the other spots. You know, all you gotta do is look around this league, and there's almost everybody has one good one. And almost everybody struggles when the one good one gets hurt. So, you know, you look at VCU, again, I like using them as an example, but, you know, they're having struggles because Ace is hurt. So he's in some ways irreplaceable. Even Dayton, I don't know if Malachi's completely healthy or not, but they're having more struggles because, you know, he hasn't quite played to what he's capable of yet because he's been hurt. You know, you take Gilliard off of Richmond last year, or you take Gary Collins off of St. Louis. It's a must position. You know, we're actually in pretty good shape in that spot because we have two. You know, we have one that's played a bunch, and then the other guy's an unbelievable substitute and an unreal leader. And then we have the other two that can play there if we get in a mess. So we're actually in decent shape. You know, I better knock. You know, especially Q. I think Q can play there pretty much in his sleep. I think it affects his shooting a little bit, but he can play there. He's a good passer. He's big. You know, so.
Follow-up question on Quincy. I asked him, you know, what position would he consider himself, and he said that he's basically a guard that can do 1 through 3. You think part of the ups and downs he have to do with not having a real defined position, that he knows that he has to do certain things on the court, or that he has to really buy into just be an all-around guy, and then that way he'll...
I don't think it has anything to do with what position he plays. I think it's all maturity. He like, I hit him all the time on just how good I think he is, because I think he's really good. Now, I think he underachieves, right? Because consistently he can't quite bring it every single day yet, but he's getting closer and he's playing harder every single day. But he's a talented, he's a talented guy that has a really good feel for the game. He's got a better feel than most of our guys. Like, you know, there's some things you can't just teach. Guys just look over here and throw it over there. You know, like you could have the same coach and one guy can do it and another guy can't. You know, it's not really coaching, it's just straight instinctive. And his instincts are, like, he's got really good instincts. His feel for the game is really good. It's just he has to do more toughness plays, do the things he doesn't love, take good shots, you know, and hunt EGBs rather than worry about whether the ball goes in or not. Look, I think he's going to be if he takes good shots, he's going to be a 40% three shooter if he gets himself in better condition. He's that good a shooter, right? Again, maybe I'm overly high on him, but I think he's a very gifted guy. And so that's why I thought we needed to keep playing him more. And he's had a battle, like at first he wasn't playing at all. So I give him credit. He hadn't complained, he just plays. I think Matusz's gonna end up the same way. He just has to, you know, just believe in himself, and he's gonna play pretty good too before it's over. They're big.
That EGB thing, how long have you been using that?
On stock cars. So I've known Doc for over 20 years. So I got to make sure that I give him his trademark on that. It's all his stuff. So we've been using it for years.
You never talk about it.
Well, I talk about it a lot in the locker room.
Yeah.
He
So,
said it.
you know,
I think
for us,
this might be the first time I've ever heard you say it.
so I can
He said
explain
it
to you
before.
what they are. It's loose balls, it's deflections, It's running the floor in 6 seconds. It's wall ups. It's hits and gets. So like when the ball goes up, you got to hit. You know, it's duels, one-on-one defense. So it's all the little stuff. It's taking the charge, all the little stuff that's not on the stat sheet, pretty much. You know, that win you games. So that's probably the most disappointing thing for me is we just haven't taken the charge. We have to take the charge if we're going to be a good team. You know, half of those, that's one thing you can say about Asuni last year, is not only did he shot block, but he took the charge as well. You have to be willing to take the charge. It's a big part of the game. So it's a big, EGBs are big for us.
How much closer are Joe, RJ, and Chabi?
Joe's closer, so we got a good report on him. Not a good report, but a better, it could have been worse, let's put it that way. RJ's gonna be touch and go. You know, we'll see how it goes. Chabi still weighs. So, if we could get one of them back, it helps us, really. 2 of them makes it hard on me. 3 of them makes it really hard on me. Right?
Was this the game that showed that you missed Joe Reese, especially inside?
I think we've missed Reese since he got hurt. I mean, he's so experienced. You know, look at Rotroff. Like, Rotroff's playing good because he's so experienced. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's good at. You know, and I think we miss RJ too because RJ can fling them in. You know, like we probably missed RJ a lot the last game because they played all that zone, and we really didn't have anybody that we could play Matouche there, but he's not as physical as RJ. You know, RJ can guard bigger guys. He can step out there and make threes. He's been in a million games, even though they're Division II games. You know, but I mean, we miss those guys. You can say whatever you want. We survived it, but those guys are old. You know, that's the thing. Really old. Like so Dave Dixon does some unbelievable stuff, but he does some unbelievable stuff. Right? Like some great stuff and some great stuff the wrong way, right? But it's fine. Like the good thing is he's gonna be really good. Talent wise, like he's got as much as anybody, big man wise on this team. He's a jumping jack, right? And he's got good touch. He's a good runner. And Chabi's the same way. Chabi's a good runner too. He's more of a low box guy. So we got a lot of good young guys. So we did a good job in the portal, but we did, you know, those guys, my staff did an unbelievable job with those young kids. Those young kids are good players. All right, well, thank